Welcome to the Tekitok podcast, where we embark on a journey through the ever-evolving realm of SAP and IT operations, automation, artificial intelligence, and cloud technologies. Whether you're an IT professional, a business leader, or simply curious about emerging technologies and industry insights, our episodes will be your compass in navigating this dynamic landscape with real-world experiences. Join us as we demystify complex concepts, explore innovative trends, and engage in stimulating dialogue with industry experts to empower you with insights that matter. The views expressed by our hosts and guests are their own and do not reflect the opinions of their respective companies. The producer of this Tekitok podcast assumes no responsibility for any public content, ideas, or recommendations shared.
Okay, so today I will give you a very high-level overview of what IT-Conductor does as a cloud company and how we leverage the cloud to actually deliver cloud services, which is interesting because we ourselves are a cloud company, and yet we leverage all of that to deliver the services. So these some of the slides I will go over pretty quickly and leave some time for answering any questions, but just as a way of introduction, my co-founder and I started in this journey around 30 years ago, applying technology to solve problems for businesses and businesses of all sizes. So we didn't start today, we started a long time ago, but sitting where you guys sitting from a place far away. In fact, I had a 30-year reunion with my colleagues, my college buddies just last year, and we were kind of reminiscing how technology has come a long way, but really it's built upon the same principles: networking, computing, storage, just done a little bit differently. And I'll give you an example today. Everybody knows about AI. So here's a course syllabus back in the 80s. The same syllabus we had when we first started this new course, 7 years of college squeezed into 5 years. And you can see artificial intelligence is on this list here at the AI 1, AI 2, and today AI is everywhere, right? But, this is actually from the 80s. And, all the principles are the same. It's just applied more accelerated, more fine-tuned. Principles about networking, advanced computer architecture, all of that is there. So as you know, that's why I'm saying it's important to get a basic concepts foundation, whether you're a business person or you're an IT person, it doesn't matter. The same principle exists. Physics doesn't change. And so in computing, we may accelerate it and we may look like it's different or smaller, but the same principle applies. And you can apply this to building a cloud business out of things that are based on fundamentals. So in IT, we have a kind of a inertia around automation today. So I want to talk about how IT-Conductor came about. We just saw a lot of inefficiencies in how businesses are run. Every company has multiple departments, marketing, sales, and support, and R&D, and HR, and all that finance stuff. IT is the core of that. Without IT, people would still be doing very manual processes. So what we're trying to do with IT-Conductor is to build a business around enabling IT to do more with less. So in a way, what we do is we monitor the constant things that are running in the company. We help them manage whatever they have, whether it's computers, whether it's a process, and then we automate or orchestrate that so that they can do more with less staff, and it can do it all the time, around the clock, 24/7. So that's the important thing to note here. Is cloud is doing this for you today. Whether you realize it or not, it becomes second nature. I know that services today that didn't exist a long time ago, for instance, streaming on Netflix or something like that, movies instantly. We are in the age of instant gratification. So we want movies, we turn it on, we search, we find, we start it, right? And that's it. We watch it. We don't think about it, but that's built on cloud services. Netflix is one of those exemplary company that mirrors its business delivery platform based on cloud services. The computers that drives the graphical type thing, delivering your content, the storage that stores all those movies right? Just like YouTube, there's just billions and billions of content. And how it's delivered over to you is via the network. That network today is all cloud-based. There's no, physically people going out there and just plugging ends to each other. The foundation has been built. What you lay on top of that is the cloud services that you can use in that. So that's what in essence what IT Conductor does, right? We deliver these services over the cloud using technology. So you might recognize some logos on here. We have Chevron and Microsoft's. Everybody today, when you talk about cloud, they understand. 20 years ago, when we started our business thinking about a platform building, we literally came in with servers because they didn't understand cloud. They'd say, no, cloud's not secure. So it has changed. So today we talk about what are the building blocks of cloud? How does that help you accelerate business delivery and services that make sense? Because again, instant gratification. How can a company provide instant gratification? Well, it's by leveraging something and just pay as you use so that the customer can get something quickly, right? And then if they need something changed, you can change it quickly. So as an example is a platform that we built here. These are all, if you think about what I mentioned, how a company operates, you have marketing, sales, you have support, you have HR, finance, you have research development, whatever. They all use different aspects of what we call a platform. So in IT Conductor, we have a platform that deals about end user experience, whether it's a dashboard, a report. So in the old days, business people just use Excel, right? You use Excel, you store data, you generate graph, and maybe you take a screenshot, you put it in a PowerPoint, you present it. Today, you go on a website, you want a dashboard, you want a report, you can do all that online through a website. And that's what we built there to deliver to end customers. And then beside all that, as a business, we always monitoring something for the customer. And that's what we build is the insights. How well is their business running, right? So this is core of our platform delivery. And in the between here is the important part. What I mentioned about doing more with less is about automation. If you think about it, cloud is to automate delivery of things in a accelerated manner, as I said, so that you can consume it. And of course, they like to get paid as you use it. In the old days, you might get a bill a month after for what you consume, right? Now, cloud, you immediately see what you're consuming day to day, hour to hour. You can say, oh, that's a lot of money. I can turn it off. So that's elasticity you're talking about, and also what we call utility model. Central to that is how we recover. So if you find out today something is broke, we fix it right away. We don't wait till the end of the month, right? That's what we call automation allows us to do. This is the same way that all these cloud companies are doing. They're always monitoring. Let's say you're streaming a movie and it suddenly stopped because your internet bandwidth is degraded. Maybe it's your end, maybe it's their end, but they would know right away. Because if a customer gonna call in, they need to know, understand that it's their end or the customer end and what can be done to fix it. And that fixing itself is now mostly automated because of the ability to use the cloud services. So let's say, for instance, I have two servers where your movies are stored on. One of them went down and you have degraded performance. They know one went down, they can restart it up. And in the cloud, you can replace it, you can restart it, you can essentially do it dynamically. That's one of the benefits there. So we work with all kinds of cloud technology. So infrastructure as a service is more towards, I just need a machine, but I don't have to have a server in a room anymore. I can just spin it up on the cloud. I have platform as a service, which is something a little bit more advanced, meaning like I want to store some photos and I don't need to figure out how to put photos onto my machine. I just need a photo service. It's a platform, right? That stores the movies, the whatever, and I just pay for it and I just store it, and I have X amount of storage and I pay for X amount of bandwidth to move it around, download it, upload it. So those are called platform as a service. And then SaaS is really what IT Conductor is about. It's about service, everything as a service, right? I can come on, I can do everything, and it's end to end. I don't need to buy hardware, I don't need to buy software, I don't need people. I just need to use it and I'll pay for what I use. So software as a service. So we work in all kinds of environment like that. And we have customers that are leveraging it on a public cloud. They may have their things in the cloud. They may have it on their traditional data centers. If you think about a room full of computers, most companies invested in the 80s or 70s. There's still companies that use that technology, and that's still valid today. But most of them are in the hybrid world. There's no company that we know of competitively operating with pure on-site. They have some services that may be HR, maybe payroll is actually running through some kind of cloud services. They just pay for as they use, right? So what's the benefit of the cloud? So this is before. We're dealing with physical things, physical servers, physical network. That picture is not so far from the actual one in our data center when we started more than 10 years ago. We have real servers, storage network, and somebody had to go there, plug all the cables, make sure they're all running. And when something's wrong, you got to go in there again and figure out what's wrong. Maybe a cable went bad, and which one do I, fix? Today, all of that is replaced when we move our data center application to the cloud. We essentially are represented by, I would say, virtual, like it's a virtual technology. You put block diagrams to represent what it is. You're never going to touch it. There's no way to know it because all the cloud vendor allow you to spin things up. You don't exactly know where, you don't care where. You just know that you can have it instantly. You will pay for what you need to use. That's elasticity. And utility model will allow you to just say, hey, I need a bigger, I need a smaller, I need it down in the weekends where I don't use it, so I don't pay for it. So that's the finance aspect of cloud that you need to also manage, right? So not just starting things, unlike here where I already pay for all my power and my space. If I don't run it, I'm still paying that monthly bill. Here, I may pay some of it. Some of it may be dynamic, like if I have a business demand because of, let's say I'm a retail and I'm going into Black Friday, I want to be able to spin up and address all my customer orders without having a problem. And therefore, I will pay for it that period of time. But after that, I'll shut down, right? So all of this really allow us to do this kind of scaling and being able to pay for what we use. And that's the model, right? So for today, our technology today use server storage network as an infrastructure as a service, but where we store our data, meaning our customer data all the time. We have data coming in, data going out. Think about like Netflix. The movies has to be stored somewhere. They have to be streamed to you. We have database that store customer data, information about the customer. All of that is stored in a managed database. We call that platform as a service. So the beauty is we don't actually have a database administrator because we want to focus on building the business, not people trying to run a business from a tech standpoint that could be replaced by what is provided by the cloud vendor. So that allows us to focus heavily on running the business and optimizing it rather than adding people to manage the lower level skills. Okay. So our business is really now today, because we focus on automation, we're actually helping customer migrate to cloud. So we did years ago migrate our own application to cloud. Today, we use our automation as a way to discover what they have, to design something for them, and then put them in the cloud. So that means what I showed before about storage and servers and networks, all of this thing can be done now through coding. There's no physical person racking a server, connecting a cable. We can do this today by deploying what we call templates, right? I need a server. I need to connect these servers. I need them to talk to each other. All this can be done by spelling out some code. So you are in the age of AI now, where some of this code now is so advanced that you can literally tell it, say, do this for me, build a server, connect it, expose it, call it xyz.com. It would do it all for you without having to actually physically do any manual work, right? And what you get in that is, if you automate a lot of this through cloud services, our experience is you can save up to 44% in the traditional way of doing things manually. The cloud has enabled you now to turn things on, turn things off, connect things without the physical presence of that. And you can do it anywhere. The people can be anywhere to administer it. The user can be anywhere. And we see that average saving to be quite substantial, right? And this is how we use cloud to build what we call a unique business model. We use it as data-driven. Data-driven means that if I have more customers, I can scale up my stuff. If I have less, I can scale it down. I can build my servers to address the data that I have at hand. If my customers are spending more, they produce more data and I'm consuming more data, I can charge them more, right? So it's a business model where you have to address more of the on demand as it goes along. So that builds a unique proposition where we can be anywhere at any time without having to have physical presence. And that's what the power of the cloud is, that you can have a company maybe in Africa somewhere, and remotely you can actually manage that. They don't have the staff to do it locally. You could do that expertise, deliver that through the cloud services, particularly with the network that we have today, right? So this is the technology that we patented to make it intellectually protected from somebody copying our technology, to give us a business advantage to deliver premium pricing for our services. As a kind of a anecdotal side, that's kind of where we tech and patented our technology. So to protect from infringement, somebody has a novel idea and try to copy it, well, they would have to check and make sure that it's not infringing on our ability to operate, because we protected. You can see that we specify exactly how our technology works, how cloud works. And that's where, if I go back to here, you can see most of what we show in the data center, the picture, is actually now in the cloud. You don't need to know exactly where it resides. It doesn't matter. It is managed as a bunch of compute, storage, network delivered through a platform as a service, as well as infrastructure as a service. That's how we consume it. And then in the end, we wrap it around and market it out as what we call SaaS, software as a service. So customers don't have to do anything to buy anything. They just pay for what they want to use. And customers can be anywhere in the world, and they just essentially, like today, you go on and you sign up, you subscribe, you put your credit card, you tell them what package you want to subscribe for, and you pay for it, and you start using. That's the model that we deliver today to our customers, right? And in the end, everybody's happy, because the total cost of ownership for our customers, right, they can have a reduction of up 70%, because they don't need a full team. They don't need physically to go anywhere. They don't need to train or buy software license. All of that adds up. They pay for what they need. And over time, it actually is a huge saving, based on the fact that they can leverage their people to do something else. So we can automate things for them. They don't have to do manually what they used to do before. So this is the cloud model of the future, is that every business need to think about how to market their services and provide services so that they can be consumed dynamically, and people only pay for what they want, and not like, I need to buy all this, but I'm only using 20% of it. That day kind of operation is over. It doesn't survive in the business world. And I think cloud disrupt that, because the ability for customer to shop around and think, hey, I can get this over here. I can stream from Disney. I can stream from, Amazon Prime, or I can do it from Netflix. They roughly have the similar content. So the ability for cloud to provide you this ability to access this is one of the main benefits. And both the customers know it, both the companies know it. So they all kind of do their best to deliver you services based on cloud, so that you can get that benefit quickly, right? So at this point, that's the official presentation. I am able to take questions if you have questions.
Right. Thank you, Len. You mentioned that you moved. So you started with that picture and where those your legs.
Yeah.
And now you're on the cloud. So you migrated there. What was any challenges that you could?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, anytime you talk about a major move like that, there are challenges. Typically, understanding the sizing is the first thing. It's like, I have this, I paid for on-prem. How much is it going to cost? What do I need to size? Because on cloud, as I say, you pay for what you consume. So one of the first things is you have to know what size you want to start with, and that determines your costs. And then you have to budget that. So the problem for us when we go cloud, as always, you tend to run over budget, because when you first go there, you have empty spaces. You don't want to be short right away when you just get to a new place. You want to be great. So you tend to size bigger, and then you kind of have to, over time, spend the time to tune it down to exactly what you need, so you don't overpay. Because what car company don't tell you is, like, the services will cost more than your traditional that you have something you manage yourself, because of course they have to make some money on top of that. So it's your job to control the cost by understanding exactly what you need, size it. And then the second thing, a challenge-wise, is if you have something big you're trying to move to the cloud today, everybody's going to say, we can move to cloud for you. But they have to understand a company that has like Netflix, right? If they want to say whatever cloud they're on today, they want to move to something else, there's a significant amount of content. That content's going to cost to move, and it's going to take time to move as well. So just like you're moving a house, you're moving an apartment to a big house, or you're moving a big house down to a small apartment. You have to get the size truck. You have to know how far is it away, how many people you need to lift it. So what we call that as a cloud migration. So there's a cost involved with that. So yes, time in migrating is a challenge. Cost estimating is another challenge. And the third thing I would say is a challenge, where I'm hoping you guys, the younger generations are inspired by, is to deliver services where you can help customer move by having more expertise, because there was a serious lack when we started going to cloud of cloud expertise. Now there's a lot of Coursera's and university teaching about cloud. But in the old days, we had to figure it out ourselves, build that skills up, and get somebody capable of doing this kind of work on the cloud, because they're not walking into a physical data center anymore and plugging cables. They need to learn how to do this by an online tool or portal, and drag and drop and connect and configure. But it's still a skill. So I think the skill gap is also was a problem for us when we're migrating as well.
One more question is, when I think of the cloud, I think of us as consumers. So we get email from the cloud, or we get a OneDrive, and we can share files with other people because those files are in the cloud. So whenever I think of us, we think of cloud, we are consuming cloud services, but you are creating cloud services. So can you just, why the cloud is helping you to build services to your customers?
Right. And that's a great question, because I think to answer this, I will flip back, if you don't mind, to like one single slide so I can show it adequately. I will share an answer. Just bear with me 1 second, and I will share. And it just makes it easier for me to talk to it. Okay, so if you see how IT-Conductor Platform is built, we have all these areas, all these functions that we build for customers to use as a cloud service, right? They could come, they want dashboard, they want reporting. So for us, the difference between when we were traditionally on-prem versus when we are in cloud is, in cloud, we can consume other cloud services, wrap it around, and deliver to our customer quickly. Just because we're a cloud company doesn't mean we don't utilize other, let's say, third-party, other partner solution. So for instance, on Amazon Web Services, right, we could consume what they have, this monitor. They have things called CloudWatch, which is on Amazon Web Services. Let's say we don't have to build everything from scratch. We can use parts that they have on the cloud and then put it together in a sensible, architected manner, and now present it to the customer. Say, look, what I built for you, right? They don't need to know all the mechanics. Just like when you drive an electric car, you don't need to know what's underneath the hood. You don't need to know how the batteries work. You just turn on the key and you charge and you run and you go. Same thing with what we do is we take things, we build it, and we deliver to the customer much more quickly as before. Before we had to build everything. When we on-prem, we have to do everything ourselves. We need more storage, go acquire it, put it, and then we need somebody to program the code. Today, we have security that is scanned automatically using cloud services. So our services delivered has to be secure. How do we ensure security? We use other cloud services to scan it, and we pay them for the tool, whatever. But then the end customer benefit from the fact that we provide secure services. So they don't need to think about all of that stuff. So that's the benefit of actually building tools on cloud on top of other tools that are maybe cloud as well, right? To accelerate that whole transition. You don't have to build everything from scratch.
Right. One last question, and then I'll let you go, unless they have other questions. Anybody has a question? Okay, one question, and I will let you go. You have at the bottom what I read as infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. We want to look at that this week. Do you consider IT-Conductor as a software as a service?
Definitely, we are SaaS because we deliver services where the customer really go from taking care of things 100% down to maybe 10%, meaning they don't have to go provision or buy servers. They don't need to go license, buy software and install it. They don't need to train somebody to configure it and maintain it. They don't have to keep it secure. We do all that. And then we just tell them, what do you need? They say, oh, I need you to automate, this. And we take, we have this graphical designer. We'll drop a box here, drop a box there, and then connect it, configure it. And then we tell them, go ahead and test it. They test it, says, yeah, works great or not, change this part. So we do all this as a service so that they become a pure user. And that's what SaaS should be. SaaS should mean that you don't have to install, configure, do anything. You just consume it. And you might have to do 10% of what you used to do 100% before. But as a user, you would be more interacting with the cloud company to say, this is not working exactly the way I want. Can you change this? And they'll say, okay, yeah, we'll put in a ticket, we'll change it. So that's what we do, right? Customer tell us how they want to operate. We configure for them. They use it. And then when they change, they tell us again, we change. So it's a service. That's all they need to worry about. They consume it as a service. That's what SaaS is.
All right. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Any questions? Maybe later, let me know. You can forward that to Lynn. Okay.
All right. Thank you very much, folks. Have a good day.